Hello, and we are back, and we're moving on to something new that we're going to be exploring something through this problem here. And it's one big problem, and I'm not going to go over too much of it because I want to see, and your teachers want to see here what you can do with this problem. All right, so I'm going to go over it, talk to you a little bit about what this problem is saying because it can be a little bit tricky to understand, how I might start approaching it, and then you're going to take over and finish it. Okay, so the problem's called multiplying like bunnies. I'm going to read it right here. In the book of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck, which could be a book you read later this year, two good friends named Lenny and George dream of raising rabbits and living off the land. What if their dream came true? So suppose Lenny and George, these two people, they start with two rabbits. So they start with two. And during the first month, those rabbits have two babies. And also suppose that every month thereafter, each pair, meaning each pair, the original pair two, will continue to have two babies. Your goal with this problem is how many rabbits will Lenny and George have after 1 year, right? And it'll be nice to represent this situation with telling me how it's growing, how you got your answer, and maybe a table, okay? So let's look at this one. So what I might do first here, let me zoom out so you can see my whole paper for a second, is what we know. Let's write down what we know first, or what we want to solve. So what we want to solve, know what your goal is here. What we want to solve is how many bunnies are there after 12 months. That's the goal of the problem. If you can do that question, then you are good to go. Right? You want to solve the number of bunnies after 12 months, so figure it out. I know the English there isn't too good, but you get the main idea. So let's make a table of this really quick. So let's call a table XY, where X will be months, and Y will be the number of bunnies. Bunnies, rabbits. Sorry, I keep saying bunnies. Let's use the actual word there. Rabbits. Number of rabbits. Number of rabbits. And we always like to start our table at 0, and we're going to go all the way down to 12. You can't even see it, but you can see mine goes all the way down to 12. So let's make sense of this. So it says here in the problem, suppose Lane and George started with 2 rabbits. So that means that in month 0, they started with 2. And if I have a little picture off to the side here, they had 2 rabbits. So that's month 0 in the very beginning. And it says, suppose that every month thereafter, each pair has 2 rabbits. So if I went to month 1, this pair are going to have 2 rabbits. So that original 2, that pair will now have 2 rabbits. So how many are there after 1 month? Well, there's the 2 from the first month, 1, 2, plus 2 more, which is 4. Okay. Now, if we move on to month 2, and you don't have to do this picture all the way. We just need this to figure out the pattern. The goal is to figure out the pattern, because to draw this out, it might get kind of tricky. But let's understand month 2. So let's redraw month 1. So month 1 was 1, 2, and those 2 had kids, and they had 3, 4. So I'm going to highlight in red the new rabbits every month. So these were new. The new rabbits that month. Okay. Now month 2 is each pair, remember, each pair, if I highlight that, has 2 babies. So that means that the original pair are going to have 2 more. And this pair are going to have 2 of their own. So how many is that total now? Total. 1, 2, 3, 4 from the previous, plus 5, 6, 7, 8. So now we'd be at 8 rabbits. Okay. And I'll do month 3, and hopefully from there you kind of catch on to this pattern. And we'll look at it, the teachers and myself. So month 3, let's draw the old month. So we had the 1, 2 that had 2. Then the next month, they each had 2. Okay. Now, every pair has 2 rabbits. So that means the original 2, they're back at it again, having 2 more. Their first set has 2. That babies that were just born month 2 have 2, and these 2 have 2. There's bunnies everywhere. My gosh. Yeah, it gets a little weird if you think about it, but let's not think about it. So how many are there after month 3? Is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 for month 2 plus 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 total. And you can keep going with the picture if you want to, but maybe you can think about how are we getting from 2 to 4, 4 to 8, 8 to 16. What's the pattern? If you can figure out a pattern, you might be able to solve this problem pretty quickly. Now, I am going to ask, and hopefully if you're watching this video, that once you finish your table, make a graph of this data, a sketch. So once finished, make a sketch. So once finished with table, where X is the months and Y is the number of rabbits. And I want you to see what is this pattern, what shape is it going to create on the graph? Because we've studied straight lines, linear lines. But is this linear when a pattern follows this? And what exactly is this pattern? So I'll let you try and figure that out and make sense of it. The teachers and myself, we will help elaborate on this when time comes. But for now, do your best at it. That's all we can ask of you. Read it a few more times if you need to. All right, good luck.